Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. I appreciate you being here today. The portal is orange, and it's a real orange. It's not a fake orange. If we go in here to the portal, you can see we have 2 times chance of legendary champions from Sacred Shards today. Now, I don't normally pull during 2 times Sacred Shard events anymore. I tend to save my Sacred Shards up for fusion events. But the good news is we've got both going on right now. We are in the middle of the Strategos Island Fusion event. And so we have a tournament, which is a champion chase tournament, I believe. And there are a couple of things going on today, because if you pulled the 15 shards from the summon rush at the beginning of the fusion, you do not need to go after all 15 shards here. You only need 5 of these shards. And that is the boat that I am in currently. However, there is an additional reason to maybe want to pull shards here. And that is these 2 legendary tomes up at the top of the reward column here. So I need those 5 fragments, which is roughly probably going to be somewhere between 3 and 4 sacred shards. But I could potentially keep pulling, go after the additional shards, which would free me up from the next Dungeon Divers event, because the Dungeon Divers event have been very time and resource intensive. So if you want to skip one of those other events, you could potentially go after these additional 10 shards. I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. I planned on only going for these 5 fragments, but I do have the shards, and it is a 2 times Sacred Shard event. So I may as well pull a little bit more than I would otherwise. So I don't really know what's going on here. We don't know exactly what we're going to do. We know we're going to pull at least to 1,000 points and get those 5 fragments, but we might keep pulling. There is additionally one other thing that is going on during this 2 times event, which is there is a 10 times from Sacred Shards for Staltish Dragonbane. Now, I did a little video on him just a day or 2 ago, so you might want to go watch that. He is one of the best defensive-based nukers in the entire game, and he's definitely the best non-void defensive-based nuker in the game. He also brings some interesting debuffs. He does have an increased defense for himself, but he can drop crit damage, or he can drop speed on your enemy at 100% chance. And that is conditional. It's a little bit weird. And then his A2 has a very good chance of placing a stun. We just redid the math here. It's only a 65% chance. I think maybe in the previous video, I thought it was 75% chance. So on a 2-hitter at a 65% chance, that's roughly 88% of the time that that stun is going to land. So a nice high chance, not 100%, but very close. And again, you could push that even further with the mastery to get extra 5% chance on the stun if you go down the defensive mastery tree. We're also going to be pulling on our alternate accounts. Both my editor son and I have a few sacred shards on those other accounts. So I don't know where we put that in the video, whether that was before this or after this. So if you've already seen this, you know what happened there. But let's hope we have some good luck. Now, last week when I was pulling during the summon rush, I happened to pull an Elva on my very first shard, and people were pretty excited about that. I don't expect that to happen, but with a 2 times event going on here and 12 shards, we should hit. If we pull all of our shards, we should hit, but hopefully we'll hit before we have to pull all of our shards. The only 2 champions I'm really looking for are Duchess and Kymar. The only epic I'm still looking for is Geomancer. Any of those 3 champions would make this a win for me. All right, so let's stop talking about it, and let's go pull. Here we go. Can we get another one right out of the gate? Nope. And we've got a Kalia. I don't know why, but Kalia has been showing up a lot for me lately. I didn't get my first copy until like 2 months ago, and now this is my 3rd copy. So she's actually an old champion. I didn't realize how old she was because I never saw her before on any account. But she's not that exciting. So let's just keep going. 250 points there. Let's see if we can get some gold. All right, a Bone Keeper. Nothing to be said about that. Keep pulling. We know we're pulling at least 4 shards. Aothar, oddly enough, we were just talking about this champion. This guy's actually a pretty good clan boss poisoner. On his A2, he attacks 4 times at random, and each hit, if you have it him ascended, has a chance, oh no, it's a 100% chance of placing a poison debuff for 2 turns. And this can be on a 3-turn cooldown. So you get 4 poisons up. That's a lot. That's more than almost any other champion. So he gets a ton of poisons out on the clan boss. Let's go one more time. All right, we got a Siege Hulk. Siege Hulk is a good AoE damage dealer for an epic. He brings an increased attack for himself. He can also place a decreased defense on the enemy, so you can use him either as a nuker or as a debuffer. Pretty good champion. All right, so I think that was 4. So we know we're at 1,000 points. Now, I know also I'm not really close to Mercy. I believe during the last event, I pulled Elva, and then I pulled 3 more shards. And now I've just pulled 4. So I'm 7 shards in, and you don't hit Mercy until 12 shards. Is that correct? Let's take a look at the Mercy rule. So I would have to pull 12 without a legendary to get into the Mercy. And then the Mercy only increases it by 2% per shard. So we're not quite there. We could hit it before we run out of shards. But I'm going to keep pulling. It's a fusion. It's a 2 times event. I'm getting so much value for these shards. I'm not really too worried about it. I do want to hit gold as well, obviously. I'm going to try to get points for that tournament. Deacon Armstrong. This is only my second Deacon Armstrong ever. I'm kind of excited about that. I've been thinking about a double Deacon Armstrong build recently for a couple of things, which would be fun. But I have so many champions I need to 6-star. I don't know that I would bring another Deacon up to 6-star. But as far as epics are concerned, if I were going to build a second copy of an epic up to 6-star, Deacon would be one of those I would consider. So very good champion. I don't know if I'm going to get value out of him or not, but for right now, I'm not going to say no. That could eventually be a fun pull. All right, we're still going. Here we go. We got gold. We got the Harima. Wow. Oh man. That's exciting. That is exciting. I didn't mention her, I don't think in the video, but I was just talking about her earlier today. This is one of the few champions I would get excited about who was not Duchess or Kymar. So first of all, Shadowkin, my favorite faction, I think, is Shadowkin. Really cool champion. She is a great arena nuker. Let's check out her kit. So on her A1, she attacks one enemy, has looks like 75% chance when booked of placing the decrease attack debuff for 2 turns, and a 50% chance of placing a decrease attack debuff on all other enemies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So 75% chance on her target and 50% chance on everybody else. That doesn't actually feel awesome as an A1 on a legendary. One thing to note here, she is a defensive-based champion. We were just talking about defensive-based nukers with Stultus, so here's another one. On her A2, she attacks 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 5%. This stacks up to 30%. Each hit also increases this champion's defense by 5%, stacks up to 100%. So the longer the fight goes, the stronger she gets. Instantly activates the Celestial Awe skill if this skill kills an enemy. Awe skill if this skill kills. Say that 3 times fast. Awe skill if this skill kills. That's rough. Okay. So Celestial Awe must be this one. Attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target champion is from the Demon Spawn faction. Now, this is the AoE she uses in Arena, in PvP so often, but obviously this could be good against wave content of any type, so PvE. Places a provoke debuff for 1 turn on all enemies, so an AoE provoke is really good, and it can't be resisted if the target champion is from the Demon Spawn faction. Now, what that sounds like, and I would have to actually playtest this, I haven't looked into this myself, is if there is one Demon Spawn on the enemy team and you target that champion, the provoke can't be resisted by anybody. So I don't think the other champions, in the wave that are being hit, I don't think they count as targets. I think the target is the one that you select. So all you need is one enemy from the Demon Spawn faction for the provoke to be irresistible. I think that's how that works. All right, the passive says ignores enemy defense effects. Ignore defense effects are decreased by 50%. Enemy ignored defense. Okay, so you can't ignore as much defense on her as you normally would or on her team. Champions from the Demon Spawn faction cannot inflict critical hits on this champion. Interesting. This champion cannot land weak hits on champions from the Demon Spawn faction. That's interesting, too. That means basically that she is always at least a neutral affinity against Demon Spawn. And then as far as her Passive goes resistance and arena battles by 80, which is not too bad. I'm pretty excited about that champion. That is a very cool pull. She is definitely a meta arena nuker right now. And yeah, so to go along with the Candrafon I pulled like 3 weeks ago, I guess I got my defensive nuker. No Staltis Dragonbane, but here is a defensive nuker. Let's see how we are doing on points in the Champion Chase tournament. We are at 1751, which means we are 3 epics away from these other 10 fragments. And if we hit on one of those, we could potentially be very close to this legendary tome. And legendary tomes are incredibly valuable for me. So I think I'm going to keep pulling. Why not? Let's keep pulling. All right. Now, the only downside to this would be if there were a guaranteed legendary event from Sacred Shards in the next few weeks. And let's say they offered a Kymar. That would be really awful. But otherwise, I think this is a good time to pull. It's a 2x event. Let's see if we can't get lucky and hit on a second one. But I think I'm going to pull another 4 shards. Oh, we hit on a second one, back to back. Oh, cool. Skull Lord Vargal. All right, so this is not a champion that's really on my list anywhere, but he's actually a really interesting champion. And he does have... So where is this skill here? Revives a Skull Sworn with 50% HP and 50% turn meter at the start of each turn. If there are multiple Skull Sworns on the team, only one of them will be revived. Now, Skull Sworn is a rare in the same faction, so you can potentially have him as like a permanent, just like an infinite reviver on a Skull Sworn. I don't know why you would do that, but it is kind of a cool passive. So I'm going to have to look at this guy a little bit. I don't need any help in the Lizardman faction. But here is another defensive damage dealer. He's got a 2-hitter on the A1, strengthen and 100% chance of provoke. AoE that has 100% chance of decrease attack. And then destroys attackers' max HP. Oh, okay. Actually works against Scare Boss. Does not review very well. But okay, let's keep pulling. We're going to keep pulling. We need the points. Soul Drinker. Okay, it's a bomb champion. This kind of has an interesting passive. Places 2 bomb debuffs on each enemy that detonate after 2 turns when this champion dies. You can build him like a glass cannon, have him die, and have him put his bombs out that way. All right, so that's another 750 points. I think I'm going to pull one more. Let's see what happens. I'm still kind of hoping for a Geomancer in the back of my mind. Aina here is actually, or Aina, I'm never sure how to pronounce, probably Aina. Pretty good damage dealer. She brings a weaken and a decreased defense. She's actually pretty good against Fire Knight with a double hitter here and an extra turn mechanic. And then she's basically a clan boss damage dealer or a dragon boss damage dealer. Last one. How about a Geomancer? Ruella. Ruella is actually a very good champion. So I'm not sure if she's new on this account or not. Triple hitter. Yeah, pretty good epic, actually. Okay, so very good champion. You can see 112 speed here. She's got a lot of interesting mechanics that you can use in a bunch of different places. But on her A2, she has a chance of placing decreased defense and weaken and decrease speed. So a very good A2. And again, this is the same thing we were just talking about. This is when booked at a 70% chance on each hit, and it hits 3 times. So your chance of actually missing on this is like 3%, like 97% of the chance. 97% of the time she's going to land these debuffs. So that's a very high percentage. With 3,000 points, I'm actually on the leaderboard here. Where am I? I'm in 8th position, but I could definitely move up if I needed to. I've got some ancient shards. I've got mystery shards. I could move up if I needed to. Potentially, I could get as high as these legendary artifacts, which would be worthwhile. So if I need to pull some mystery shards in order to get that high, I will do it. But we still have 2 days and 11 hours worth of this event. So chances are those points are going to climb, and I'm going to be very far away from that. But all right, let's take all of our rewards, and then let's just count our fragments to see where we stand. We are at 80, which is very nice. So we've got that extra 10 fragments as a buffer. So I can either skip a Dungeon Divers or an Artifact Enhancement or both. or I could potentially do them if I think that I'm getting value out of them and skip something else like the champion training. That might be nice. So, all right. Pretty good day. We pulled 2 new epics for the, we pulled 2 new legendaries for the account. Vargal is one, not necessarily an amazing legendary, but new legendaries fleshing out the roster. That's always good. And then we got the Harima, who's just a top notch, just absolute beast of an arena nuker. So if that were the only champion that I pulled out of all 12 shards or whatever I pulled today, that would make the whole event worth it just on its own. Plus, we just got a lot of points for our fusion event. So, you know, really getting a lot of value out of the shards today. So I'm pretty excited. As a free-to-play player, I'm always looking for that double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. And today it felt like we got a lot of value out of those shards. All right, so I think the way we've done this is we've generally started with Sun's pulls. Maybe I should start simply because you always pull well and then I pull awfully and it ends on a down note. Maybe people enjoy that. Maybe people enjoy you popping off and me struggling.
Well, you know, just so that maybe you can have some good luck. Maybe it's the first pull, you know? First pull luck.
All right, so here's the thing. We know that you need a tank. We know that you need an allied protection or an increased defense or a strengthen or a shield or something. And you have your anchorite who's your cleanse. That's your clan boss situation. Like, you need somebody in wave content. You need somebody to extend your clan boss fight. That's basically what we're looking for. We almost don't care where it comes from. Like, it could be like a Duchess would do that job, right? Like, she's sick. So, but we also laughingly talked about, like, what if you just happen to pull Strategos Island from a shard, which would be kind of fantastic.
That would be awesome.
But the nice thing about pulling the sacred shards is we're guaranteed epics. We can't get rares. So hopefully one of us, hopefully at least one of us gets something.
Yeah, I'm going to pull all 3, so.
You have 3?
Well, I'm going to pull 2 sacreds, 1 primal.
Oh, you're going to pull the primal too. You want to start with the primal? You want to end with the primal? What are you going to do?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like the primal's got to fail me so hard.
Yeah, you want to get it out of the way?
I'm going to end on it.
You're going to end on it? Okay.
Because then if I get something good, at least I can be excited with the the sacreds, and then I've already got that out of the way now. And then I could just continue in my disappointment with the primal.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. I hope you hit something. I want to see something good. At least a very good epic. Let's get you a tank.
And then what we've got.
Oh, we got the 10 times for Staltus. Yeah.
Staltus, yeah. All right, let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's see what we got.
Here we go. It is an epic.
Ooh, epic.
Huh.
Sanguinia.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen this chick.
She's okay.
Yeah, we've got one more. One more chance. The loading, that always means good things.
Yeah, right. That's a lovely thing. Get it.
Ah!
Good epic. Oh, okay. That would actually not be an awful champion for me. He's a clan boss poisoner, but you've got your clan boss damage dealers. So he's probably not a huge addition. But you did just pull 2 Sacred Order champions. So between these 2 and your Deacon Armstrong and your Anchorite, like,
and Lady Atessa, I think.
And Lady Atessa, yeah, you've got 5 champions you can have at level 40 for that faction crypt. So that's not bad. Maybe we got the disappointment out of the way. Maybe this is gonna hit. I kind of want a drum roll. I'm like, like, come on. I want to see that red glow. Let's see that red glow. But we could also get a legendary out of this. You got a rare. Another Sacred Order champion.
Yep.
They were trying to get you a Sacred Order champion. Okay, so
no such luck there.
The thing about Sanguinia is she does have a triple hitter on the A1. And she has some like buff removal potential there. She can also place a block debuffs on allies and a continuous heal on allies. So block debuffs is another way you can go with the stun. Rather than cleansing the stun, you can block the stun from happening on clan boss. You can also block this in like Doom Tower waves, or like you can do this against Dragon or whatever. Like she would prevent the stun if you don't, burn through the Dragon's special skill. You can block the freeze and the heal reduction from Ice Golem. Like a block debuffs ability is nice. Obviously, you can get one for free from campaign. You just need a spirit host. But so it's a decent skill. And then she can transfer buffs from herself to the target, and it removes all debuffs from all allies except this champion. So it is a cleanse. This is like Skimfos' skill, and it's a good skill. His version is better, but he's a void epic. So it's kind of a cleanse, kind of a block debuffs, kind of support champion with a triple hitter on her A1. So she's not awful.
Yeah,
she's not awful.
Yeah, they're gonna go to my faction wars realistically.
Yeah, probably. All right. So
all right, your turn.
My turn. So now, what do I need on this account? I need a lot more than you do. So I don't know. I mean, I think the best case scenario for me, just based on what I've got right now, would either be a clan boss damage dealing solution, which would help, or kind of an all around like wave content support champion that would help me get 2 bosses at full health and maybe do some work there. I could definitely use an increase attack champion. I don't have one of those. Yeah. So I don't know. I need everything at this point. So let's go ahead and pull. I'm excited for epics. I am excited for epics. Like if I don't get a legendary, that's fine. As long as I get a decent epic somewhere to build.
I'm rooting for you.
There's an epic. That's just a kick in the pants. They literally give me Relic Keeper, who I'm going to have to fuse in like a month anyway. Oh. That's awful. He's not an awful champion, but man, getting a fusible champion, that is a waste of a Sacred Shard if I've ever seen one. May as well give me a High Katoon next. Like, come on. That's... All right, whatever. Let's pull again. Let's find something here. Snorting Thug. Okay. So Snorting Thug is kind of interesting. So he steals buffs, right? So steals 2 random buffs from the target, but it's a single target. He steals 1 random buff here, or he can steal up to 2, and then he can steal random buffs here. Counterattacks the attacker if they have no active buffs. I don't see this guy being particularly useful for me. Okay, so after talking with Sun, I have decided to pull my mythic shards, my primal shards, sorry. For 2 reasons. One is he pulled his, and so he thinks it's fair that if I pull mine, that's good. 2 is I could potentially get something other than a mythical champion, right? I don't have to get a mythical champion. I could get an epic or a legendary, which might help my account. And I've thought of a 3rd reason, which is that there is a champion chase event going on, so maybe I could get a few points for that and get a reward over there. So we're going to go ahead and pull these 2. I'm not expecting anything. And I will say this, if I do pull a mythical champion, I will build it out for the purpose of content, for like giving you guys more information on it. But I'm not necessarily hoping for it on this account. I feel like it'd be a little bit like cheating in this noob versus pro thing, but we'll have to roll with whatever happens. We'll have to see what happens. So let's go ahead and pull these 2 shards. All right, we got an epic. That's good. And we've got a decent epic here. Dur the Hungerer is not a bad epic. I'm pretty happy with that pull, actually. So he has a stun on his A1. It's a 40% chance, which is not too bad for an epic on his A1. His A2 has a reflect damage, which is very nice, actually. And a continuous heal. And a regular heal. And it's by 15% of their max HP. This is a decent heal. This is actually a decent sustain skill. So he's pretty good with this, plus his A3 is a revive. So he revives 2 random allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter on a 4-turn cooldown. This is a solid revive. This is a much better revive than, say, Broadmaw's, even though Broadmaw is a void epic and you can fuse him. His revive is not nearly as good as Dur the Hunger's. So this is a pretty solid champion, and I'm happy with this epic. I might be able to find some use for him. I obviously have my reviver already in Jamarsa. But this sustain here and reflect damage could potentially play either in clan boss or maybe just in dungeon content. So yeah, we'll have to see about this. The passive is defense and faction crypts, so not too bad for the orc factions. I'm sorry, this is an orc, right? Yeah, it's a demon spawn. It's a demon spawn, so not bad for the demon spawn. I don't know why I thought it was an orc for a second. I'm like, that's not an orc. Doesn't look like an orc. That is a weird looking dude, though. Okay, so let's go and pull the second primal shard and see what happens. We got a rare. And this one's an orc. So pig sticker, not an exciting rare. Heal reduction on the A1, destroys target max HP, attacks 2 times here, destroys target's max HP. Doesn't hit particularly hard, but I can either turn her into a chicken or I can run her up for the orc's faction crypt, which is probably what I'll do until I turn her into a chicken. So no mythic, no legendary, but we did get 1 epic and a solid epic, and we got some points here in the champion chase tournament. So let's see what that does for us in terms of rewards. Okay, so we were able to get a soul stone, which is not too shabby. We are up to 793 points, which puts us firmly into 4th place. Obviously, we can continue to pull shards, probably just mystery shards, and that should get us maybe another 100 points before this ends, maybe another 150 points. So I would really like this 5-star relentless gear. That would be great, and the epic tome would be excellent. So if I can sit here at 4 for the rest of the weekend, I would be very happy with that. So I'm glad I pulled those primal shards. That epic actually really helped me out here. All right, that's it for the mythic shards or the primal shards. Thanks for watching. I will now return you to your regularly scheduled program. All right, that is it for me. In the comments below, let me know if you pulled today, and if you did, who did you hit on? Did anybody land that 10 times champion Stultus Dragonbane? He's definitely a champion that I would love to pull. I love those defensive nukers, but I got mine for today, so I'm pretty happy. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and consider joining our Discord community. All right, thanks so much for being here. I've been Colred, and I will see you in another video very soon.